Our goal for the day is that by the end of the class, by the end of the research that we do, the discussion you have with your groups, that you'll be able to determine the effect of the exchange of resources on the Old and New World. Now, the exchange of resources refers to the Columbian exchange. Do y'all remember? One step of our research is that we're going to actually identify the origin of common resources that were traded or exchanged during this period and because of the Columbian exchange. There's a short little note-taking form you're going to take, and we're going to label our charts. So yesterday, you remember the predictions you made. You worked with your table groups. I gave you a list of common plants and animals that you recognized, and you labeled them. You predicted whether or not you thought they were Old World or New World. You're going to have a chance after we find the information through our internet resources to review those predictions. And then you also told me what your favorite dinner was. And you listed the main ingredients of that dinner. So we're going to look at your recipe and your ingredient list, and based on our research today and our discussion around the Old World, New World resources, what would you have been able to eat? Could you have had your dinner prior to the Columbian exchange as it is as a whole? What could you have had? I researched aloe vera last night. I found out that it's from the old, because I am not providing you with a website to go to. Because you are going to do this with your partner on your own using the internet, if I simply typed in aloe vera last night, I probably would have had like 30 billion sites. Like the number of sites. They've been places trying to sell me aloe vera. How can I make sure that the sites that come up are really the sites I need?
Site address at the bottom.
Okay, if I know a site address, I might go there and get to where
You should type it directly to what I want to go to, like Columbian Exchange.
Okay, so I might.
You could say something like typical uses of aloe vera.
Okay, so let's say I was researching last night and I'm looking up aloe vera. So aloe vera Columbian exchange, or he says if I want to know the uses, typical uses. So what do you think I should type in if I'm looking for that information? Dylan.
I would type in, is aloe vera from Old World or New World?
Okay, so maybe modify this, is aloe vera. And now y'all are getting closer. Now y'all are getting closer to what's really going to help you hone in on this information. So find the site right away. Yes?
What I was going to say is if you type any of the things that are on the board now, there's still going to be more than one website, so you could read the descriptions that it has under there, and if it's just short and it's just one thing and it's not really well written, and the ones that are well written, you might want to change.
Thank you very much. And that takes me, look, Dinah, why don't we go straight there? I said if you want, and you will need to, if you want to find your information effectively and quickly, you are going to need to use keywords that get you there, get you to the right places efficiently. I suggest strongly that you use words like origin, or a variation originate. I looked up things with history.
Yeah, she's we know that they're used for peaches. We gotta find how you make them. You don't make peaches. You grow them. I didn't know that. Okay, now. Alright, and I'll write the other one. We're doing mostly plants are being. So, was this plant originally from the old world? Old world. Skim and scan for like keywords like old world or new world. Some of the symptoms. Some of the symptoms would be. We'd have like black consequences of translation.
Rural communities devastated by the Black Death or bubonic plague and the deadly consequences of disease.
That's why we have some extra.
What are the symptoms and what are the cures? Okay. Symptoms.
It's probably down.
It's probably so we can get the website. Oh my. I was gonna say. First recognize the association. Soil and water. Okay.
Neat line.
Okay. What is Adobe Reader? They're used for weather.
Reader.
Weather meets climate.
I'm gonna jump back. Okay, you know it's so world going to the next one. We can worry about
Looking on this is a potato with chili peppers. I said strawberry. Strawberry. Climate for the New World spice. Look, it says New World foods: corn, potato, tomato, bell pepper, and chili pepper. But chili pepper in a New World.
Okay, go ahead and find the well, you can whole world, new world.
You just world and old world have names.
Read the descriptions for me real quick. What does this say?
We're the first one with New World's plants. See, that's in the middle.
Okay, so this is telling you a little bit about where it came.
Origin.
So let's see.
Alright, now we got one more.
What is it?
Raccoon.
Oh yeah, that's their call, right?
Never heard of raccoon.
Okay, so now you're going to look at your headings. Where are you going to find, where might you find some information?
Dude,
Is this site going to help?
just like delete this one and then put a new one. We don't,
Look at your headings. Is this site going to help?
Animal bites.
Do you see anything about the history of the origin, or is this, what is this information telling you?
What?
Okay, so let's go back to the search engine. Let's see what other sites pulled up. Look, you're missing. What does this say? Read it out loud to me.
In Africa, spread to the. That's what I said.
So why are you telling me it's both? Where does it say?
But
It
it also
says the
said-
disease which originated where?
said,
And spread to.
it said right here that it said yellow fever.
So what did you need me for? Why you couldn't convince her?
Yellow fever and yellow fever mosquito are thought to have
In Africa, it was brought to the New World on slave ships. Take a look at the board, and Kaylee's already approached me with an observation she made. I'm gonna let the rest of you think about it for a second, and then I'll let her share with the rest of you. Take a look at the board. Think about your predictions yesterday, because your predictions were kind of based on what you assumed was true. Are there what do you notice, or what are your impressions of this exchange of resources between the old and new world? Take a second and think. All right, Kaylee, what was it you told me a second ago?
I said that I noticed that there were more things that were in the old world than in the new world.
There were more things in the old world than in the new world. And you said you expected, you had told me what? You had expected
That there would be more things in the old world.
That you had expected that there would be more in the old than the new. Why did you feel that way?
I felt that way because when we did other research, I realized that there were more things that were in the olden days, like with the Aztecs, Incas, and Mayans, than that we have now in the new.
Okay. Well, let's talk again. Let me clarify because I want to make sure I'm understanding you and the rest of the class understands you. But we're talking about the same time period. Columbus, 1492, 1493, 1491. In this case, we're talking 1491. Let's say prior to Columbus. New World is America's. It's that new world they discovered that what they didn't know existed. Oh my gosh, remember Columbus made how many voyages before he died? 4. Yes, I heard you saying it. Be confident in your answer. 4. When did he realize that he hadn't reached Asia, but he had actually discovered a new land? Did you ever? Never. He died believing he had really reached the Indies, and he kept looking for that passage to Asia. He kept looking, and he made 4 voyages and died never knowing. It was later explorers who realized that this was really a new land. So the new world is that new land, a new place with now resources they hadn't seen before, that they didn't have access to. Dylan, what surprised you?
I didn't know that tuberculosis was from the old world because a lot of people get it here, and also I kind of had a total moment of blank because I was thinking that Indians were from the old world.
It isn't really, I know, it's okay, because when we say old and new, we usually think in time frame, right? But any time that you're talking in history about the old world and the new world, the old world is not a time period, but actually a place. It's Europe, Asia, and Africa. It's the land that you say that you were surprised about.
3 sisters.
No. When you were doing your research, you said, I didn't know corn.
Oh, we're like used for like a lot of like explosions, food,
Explosives, food. You said you saw paints, dyes. So corn isn't just important food crop, but it is important to us for other reasons. Okay, so look, here's the deal. This is what I want to do. I want you to check your predictions from yesterday. But the other thing I want you to do is to take that recipe list, and I want you to go back and look at your recipe list real quickly to see which items on your list would have been Old World, New World. Oh, Old World, New World items and actions.
They kind of connect, like rats connect to the diseases. And they all connect. They kind of all connect.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. There are certain illnesses. Because remember when we read that reading article about the Black Death? My morbid little, I love y'all. We read about it, and they didn't realize it was transmitted by rats. The fact that you're right, the connection is that because certain things were brought over, the rats being brought over on the ships also brought over horrible, horrible diseases.
But when they ate the rats that had the disease, they got the disease by eating
That's exactly right.
it.
And that's what I say does, because I see I'm seeing a connection. So the things they brought over, the rats, for example. Yes.
I have a question about the animals. I would think that the llamas would be in the old world. I know. Yeah, but the Incas have it too.
What?
That's what I was thinking. I'm like,
But the new world, I know, we got to slice up here because we have to keep it straight. The new world is North and South America, the land they didn't know existed. The Incas were in South America, and weren't the llamas their work animal? That was what they used. They're exactly right. You see how everything we've learned this year is beginning to connect?
yes.
Like we don't just learn it and forget it.
I feel